Be the change you want to see. Make a difference by giving your money a purpose, a mission to do good. Welcome to Money with Mission, where we talk to individuals, businesses, and organizations who are taking the lead and whose actions are impacting the well-being of their communities and the world at large.
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Felicia Fro, and welcome to Money with Mission. Today, I am excited. I'm always excited with my guests, but I'm really excited today to have Dave and Regina Fabry. Dave and Regina are founders of Campfire Properties, a private investment firm focused on creating unique real estate investments in RV parks and campgrounds. Dave and Regina have an extensive background in business and development. They are married. They have 2 kids. We've known each other for a couple of years, 2 or 3 or 4, I don't remember. But I really like what they're doing, and we're going to understand how that investment for them is their mission and all the other things they've got going on. Welcome, Dave and Regina. Thank you.
Hi, Felicia. Yeah, we're great to be here. We're excited to be on your show here.
And I'm really excited too. So you guys invest in campgrounds. Tell me, well, let's back up. Dave, you were in business for a long time. Talk about that. How did you even get to real estate investing?
Sure. So past 20 years, I was managing a manufacturing firm. It was an international company. It was a German company, but I was responsible for the North American division of that company. Okay. Grew it from, 15 employees to 125 over that time, and learned a lot about what it takes to build a successful business. Obviously, in 08, 09, as everybody kind of that financial crisis.
The last time, right?
Right. Yeah, the last financial crisis. We had to look at our investments, the 401k was dropping, we didn't know what we were going to have to be able to secure our future. We started looking at other alternatives, and, Gina turned me on to Rich Dad Poor Dad's book at the time, read that, and obviously I got hooked on real estate. I'm a numbers guy. So I ran the numbers. Okay. And I said, okay, well, how many single family homes is it going to take to replace our income? And I thought, geez, that's a lot. And, if we do a couple, 1 year and then use the cash flow to reinvest into others, it's going to take a long time, and it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of houses. So we decided, okay, well, let's look at what other types of real estate investments are available. And we looked at car washes, self-storage. We looked at apartments, and we really like to travel. So we thought, well, campgrounds are kind of just like another form of real estate. You rent the RV site at a nightly rate, just like you would a hotel, and so you're getting paid for that use of that asset. And so, like I said, we ran the numbers, looked like it was going to work. And so we invested on our first one in 2014 and gave it a try.
So it was really just the numbers that made you do that, or was there more to a campground? And I'm going to let Gina answer this, because I thought that there was a little bit more to that than just the numbers.
Like you said, back in 2008, I looked at him and I said, if you could do anything, what would you do? And he said, well, it has something to do with camping and fishing. And it's kind of a joke, because I just rolled my eyes. It wasn't the answer I was looking for exactly. I rolled my eyes, turned around, and walked out of the room. But I have a passion for health. And one of the things that I've come to learn in that pursuit is how important being out in nature is. Mm-hmm. Being out in nature and exercise and connecting in that way. We're very focused on family. And so the campgrounds really appeal to us from that. We like to say there's nothing better than gathering around a campfire and, roasting marshmallows and really connecting and disconnecting from what we're all overconnected with right now. Exactly. Exactly. So for him, looking at the numbers was a secondary thing. Actually, we were consulting with a couple of different people trying to figure out what to do. We decided we wanted to do a business versus just straight up real estate. We wanted to teach our children business and business skills. We wanted to work together and build something that way. So I think he did compare the numbers, but we did get a lot of people asking us, campgrounds. And somebody who I would say gives pretty good sage advice actually said to us, well, you live where you want to live, but you do your business where it makes sense. And so there was a lot of questioning whether it made sense. And so then he really went through
the numbers.
And he is truly a spreadsheet geek.
And if anybody doesn't believe him, yeah, he is. Okay. I'm not a spreadsheet geek. Gina's not a spreadsheet geek. If we need one, we want Dave on our team.
That's right.
Because the numbers have to make sense.
Yes.
So I don't think most people think about, when they think about real estate, they'll think about a campground or, we think about buildings, multifamily. Everybody's got a multifamily, just multifamily podcast coming out of the woodwork. But there's nobody talking about campgrounds. I guess, you don't think about a mobile home park as a camera. It's completely different. Okay. So campgrounds, is there a lot of competition in that space? Are you guys kind of the only ones out there? Do you just go and buy a plot of land and put some stuff on it? How does that work?
Well, our approach is to identify existing properties. We haven't gotten into a development realm yet. It's something that we have in the back of our minds, but there's the campground industry is really kind of fractured. It's primarily owned by mom and pop operators that run them. I can't say as a hobby, but kind of like a hobby. That they buy them as a retirement, and they get into it and think, okay, well, I'm just gonna hang out with our guests, greet them, let them come in, and then I'm gonna be able to sit by the fire at night and camp. And really, what they're buying is a pretty hard job. It's a lot of hours every day, especially during the peak times in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So, getting back to your question though, is there a lot of competition? There is a lot of independent operators out there that are competing for the recognition or compete. They don't have a brand, all right? And then you have the big brand operators. So KOA has more than 500 campgrounds in North America. Another one is the Jellystone franchises, and those are like Yogi Bear.
Okay.
And so those are more of a resort. So, but that's a smaller player. There's about 75 or a couple hundred. I don't remember exactly how many.
Okay.
But it's so those are affiliations that you could get into. We like to be involved with KOA because the brand is the premier brand, and the name brings a lot of guests to our campgrounds. They provide a lot of support. They provide a lot of the back end infrastructure, and you can think of it maybe as the Hilton of campgrounds. So Hilton as a brand has independent owners and operators as well.
So it's not a franchise, or is it a franchise?
It is a franchise. Yeah.
Okay. Give us some demographics. Who goes? I don't really know anybody who really goes camping. So when you don't know people that go to McDonald's, you think McDonald's don't exist. Or you don't. It's a kind of what's your world? What are the demographics on camping?
The demographics on camping they're very wide, I guess. So a lot of people who get into the retirement age will want to see this great country of ours, and they'll get an RV and they'll take longer RV trips. Sometimes they're repositioning. There are people that have homes in a colder climate and then in a warmer climate, and then they'll reposition themselves and they have an RV. It's funny that you say that, because I have friends that, when I talked about it, they were like, I can't wrap my head around that. And I said, there's people that have RVs that are $3 million. It's incredible. You look at these things and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
And so it's it's a wide demographic, and a lot of times you'll see those campers at different times of year. Like I said, the people who are transitioning from one end of, a colder climate to a warmer climate may be shoulder campers. And the demographic will be older, retired people. Right now, is it the millennials? It's the millennial generation is really about experience, and they're getting out there and camping. It's almost like it spans the width, because you have families that get out because it's an economical vacation, and also getting out to those national parks and getting out, fishing and hiking and canoeing and kayaking and with the recent developments of COVID, just getting out. Being able to get out, and Gina touched on it a little bit earlier as well, that being able to get out, make authentic connections with people. We love that we're able to facilitate that. We love that we're able to facilitate people getting out into the sun. There's some reports that the vitamin D is a great way to help avoid this.
A lot of things.
Yes, a lot of things.
Vitamin D helps avoid is more important than many of us think. Yeah, right. It's good.
And so fresh air, being out in nature, being able to have authentic connections. Zoom has made a lot of things possible, but it doesn't facilitate that same type of feeling you get face to face.
I agree. And with COVID, it seems like, to me, that seems like a perfect thing to do, because you can be out, you're outside, less chance of, I'm going to say contagion, or I can't even think of the word, when you're outside. That's all been proven by the science and stuff. So you can be outside, you can be out, not packed on top of each other like in some places, and experience, like your picture in the background shows, the creeks, the mountains. That's amazing, and authentic connections.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you, do you guys have internet at your facilities, or is it like when you come here, you are not connected?
No, well,
that's been a contention amongst us. It seems that the guests really prefer to be connected. They don't know how to disconnect. Completely. Even when they're disconnected during the day, they want to download and share all their pictures with their friends on the Facebook or
Facebook.
they really do, and it's one of those things where we've went above and beyond to provide that, just for the business side of things, the customer satisfaction.
Got it.
Although I would love for it to be really disconnected. The nice thing is the way that we've chosen the campgrounds that we've chosen, and the style, they're not there all day. So I guess it's limited for them in their use. They're still getting out. They're hiking. They're
I was going to say, and probably most people that are going camping are not completely tied to the internet anyway. It's not like it's a completely different experience. You're trying to get out. Are there more people that use, and it's probably demographic also, campers and RVs and that kind of thing versus tents and more roughing it? Do people in the United States rough it that much, or are many of them in the more fancy? I know somebody who just bought a multi-$100,000 RV, and it's like, is that really camping, or is that just another?
That's bringing your home with you.
It is bringing your home with you. So your mission, the way you've given your money a mission, the way you've invested, is to help people connect, help people be more authentic with each other, and not so much of the Zoom kind of interactions and relationships that we're forming with people. We right now have Zoom interactions because of what's going on in the world, and we're both trying to get our lives all kind of settled out. But we much more prefer to be face-to-face, sitting together at a dinner table, and that's the authenticity of knowing each other. So I really appreciate that that's what you guys have decided to do in your life, to help other people do that, to kind of spread the word about what's really healthy and what's really helpful, and providing that for people to do. That's really amazing to me. Thank you. I also know that, Gina, you talk about your health, you talk about health in general, and you and I have talked about building kind of more of a resilient kind of community. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? I don't know how far along you are on doing that, but I know it's big when we talk about it. We really get going about it. So let's talk about that a little bit.
So I've been passionate, actually, even going back to when we first started in the campground business. I had mentioned to Dave that I would love to have a place where we taught classes on, canning and making like sourdough bread and fermenting foods, and because I am passionate about health and I understand the value of that, and also growing your own food. And we haven't been able to get ourselves in line to that vision yet. We've been slowly, taking pieces. We bought some chickens and put them out on one of our campgrounds. So we'll have, laying hens soon. Part of building soil and that's teeming with all of the things that are beneficial for our health are like that process of animals interacting with the grounds. And so we're looking for a community. I have friends that have been homesteading for a while. Okay. And that's something that interests me, but homesteading out on your own is a difficult thing.
I'm going to have you define homesteading, because I don't know that everybody will know what that is.
Okay. So homesteading is usually getting a plot of land and trying to be self-sufficient, having your own animals, growing your own food, and you're usually doing it out on your own. Okay. Could include some like solar power and different things to be a little bit more resilient in a...
less reliant on things such as a supply chain for food. We saw a lot of those disruptions earlier this year.
Right.
People running to the store to stock up, whereas if you can provide some of your own food calories, you're much better off in the event that you can't get these kinds of foods that you normally want to eat.
Right.
So my idea was, how can we create a community where people are learning to, they're learning skills to build what we call a deep pantry with healthful foods that will, provide strength and grow your own food and being connected to your own food. And I have a friend whose aunt had started a school in Ohio years and years ago because she was a teacher, and she found that kids didn't know where their food came from. They had no idea. And so she had actually started a school. So my girlfriend and I probably 8 years ago started talking about this. Wow, like we really are disconnected from our food source. And I know with discussing the food deserts and the projects that you're working on, food scarcity is an issue. So my idea is really coming in and using some of the knowledge that we've built from the campground thing, the campground business, and applying that, but getting it into more of a community feel. And my idea is really someplace where people might build like a little cottage and come and spend some time there and learn the skills and do the things. We haven't had the land ourselves to do the things that we've been wanting to do for a long time. So
I think we talked about it. We talked about buying some large amount of land somewhere, place undetermined, where people could do these things. And this wasn't necessarily where you had to live, right, but a place for you to come to learn the types of things that Gina and Dave are talking about, build from some friends of ours, Adam Taggart and Chris Martin, some social capital, some emotional capital, just learn from other people, understand how to do things just in case we have a real catastrophe and there's no food. The supply chain is completely disrupted. We got it back quickly, but I think it's a bigger deal than a lot of people understand what happened to our supply chain with COVID. So it really brought it to me to understand I've got to be able to feed my family, be able to have clean water, be able to do all the things that we know we need to do in our usual life and don't think about because it just comes from the faucet. You go to the grocery store, there's meat there, there's vegetables there. Nobody thinks about where they come from. I agree with you, Gina, that having children and people understand where their food comes from will make a big difference in how we value that kind of thing and how we value farmers and how we value our land and how we value our water supply, all those things we're just so disconnected from. And I really, really like your idea of getting people more connected to that. It's really good. Thank you.
Yeah, we learned a lot from Chris and Adam at Peak Prosperity. We learned a lot from Joel Salatin at Polyface Farms. He talks about how to use animals to in communion with nature to create rich soil, great growing, which then provides nutritious food, whereas some of the food in monoculture type of growing is a little bit devoid of the nutrients our body needs.
Not a little bit devoid, a lot devoid, and then maybe I won't be that, a lot devoid, and then they travel however many miles they travel to get to you, which by the time they get to you have even less nutrition. And we wonder why we have the obesity epidemic and the diabetes and all those things going on. Like you said, Gina, the project I'm working on is actually indoor farming, but bringing food closer to people. Both of these things, it's all necessary. It's all necessary to me to be able to feed the number of people we have on our planet right now. So that's kind of that's why Gina and Dave and I are good friends, because we all have this kind of thing about people have to know more than they know about their food and about health and about, just get outside, let go of the technology for a second. The stress level goes way down, way down. It's amazing. And we can go into stress and health. We'll be on here forever, right, Gina, talking about that.
Yes, true.
It is, the connection, you guys, is so huge. Stress, and it's not just the stress that we don't, there's stress we don't even think about being stressed. The daily things that we do are stressful, and we forget. We're so used to that level of stress that we forget that it's even there. And the next thing you know, you're having a heart attack, you got atherosclerosis, you got all the things that happen. So get outside, go camping, get close to nature, put your hands in some dirt. You'll be amazed at how good you feel. You guys, we're going to have some contact information for Dave and Gina in the show notes. They have a website, they have a newsletter. Get on, understand more about who they are and what they're doing. And I think that you'll be amazed and your life will be much better and rich, just like mine. So thank you guys very much for being here.
Thank you, Felicia.
Thank you, Felicia.
Enjoyed it.
Good. And remember, give your money a mission. Leverage every dollar you invest to improve communities and your bottom line. Thank you, and see you next week.
You've been listening to Money with Mission. There are projects happening right now where you can make a great return while positively impacting the lives of others. To learn more about today's guest or to download 7 steps to building resilient wealth for women, visit www.moneywithmission.com.